It is Tuesday, November the 19th, 2024, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and the Kirk County Commissioners Court is now in session in a workshop. Now, we've got too many people to occupy this courtroom. That's pretty obvious. There is a room upstairs, I'm told, like we've done before, that you can watch it and hear it. I think Corey Tennis went up to set that up. No, sir. No, sir? No room?
It's not going to be available?
So we don't have another room.
The room has been reserved, but the bailiffs set up the YouTube, the video link. That's the way I understand it.
Yeah, district court number 1 is available upstairs. I reserved it with Christine.
Okay.
Okay, so we've got a courtroom number 1 upstairs that's available. But before you go, let me just give some instructions. This is a workshop. Y'all have had a lot of opportunity to talk about this. Most of you have come to the courtroom and told us what you think about it. Let me just take a show of hands. How many people are upset about lithium battery storage plants coming to Kirk County? Okay, we're all upset. The question is, what are we going to do about it? And that's what we had this workshop to do. Believe it or not, the 5 of us have had very little opportunity to talk to each other about this because we all tapped out under the Open Meetings Act. I talked to Commissioner Overby, so then I can't talk to Commissioner Paces unless we're in the courtroom. And so we need to talk, and we need y'all to listen to what we're talking about. And of course, we want, to a certain degree, some input. How many people have already spoken to us? Hands. A bunch. And I don't think anybody's changed their mind, have you? I didn't think so. So we've got plenty of public input. We have the request to talk to us, and we will respect these to the extent that we can. But at the same time, what we really need to do is to have us talk about what it is we're trying to do, how we're going to try to do it, how it's going to work, why we're doing it. You know, the who, what, when, why, and how, those kind of questions. That's what we need to hear, and we need to hear it from each other, because the ones that have, the commissioners that y'all have been working with, have had plenty of opportunity to discuss this. Those of us that haven't been in your meetings have not. So that's why we want to listen and talk to one another. But with that, we can't keep everybody in this courtroom. So I would suggest that the people that have already spoken to us, would you voluntarily go up to the courtroom upstairs and leave it for the people down here that haven't spoken to have an opportunity to tell us what they think about this? So why don't we just take a brief recess so everybody can stand and shuffle around, and we'll see who migrates upstairs and who takes seats down here. And if you don't want to give up your seat, just stay right where you are.
But the only people that can stay
So let's
are
take just a couple
seated.
minutes.
There's no Flat Rock Creek.
Well, check.
As you can see,
It went to commissioners.
we
I
know
got
you're
it.
upset about the lithium battery storage. And I think you see that we're upset too. We gotta figure out how to legally address this. And as a 50-year lawyer, legal is important to me. And if we do it illegally, we get sued. And I don't wanna be sued. So we need to be careful. What I really want, I would ask you to address your remarks. Some of you have prepared remarks, most of which are on issues that we've already heard about and we're aware of. For those of you that can customize your presentation to us, we're trying to find out exactly, we know the why. We're trying to focus at what is it that we're proposing to do, or you're proposing to do, or this 391 might be the vehicle to try to accomplish, how you're gonna do it. You know, the who, what, when, where, and how. Those are the questions that we're asking really in the workshop, to try to figure out when this issue comes up for a vote, we can make an informed decision. And you are an asset to help us understand that. So, and let me just kind of ask the court before we get them up here. What is it we're trying to do? We're going to form this 391 and do what?
There are a lot of things that a 391 commission can do, one of which is it gives us a much louder voice with our state legislature. It's up to the state legislature to pass any kind of new laws and
understand that.
regulations.
What is it we're
Let
trying?
me finish, please.
Okay.
Okay?
Nobody's telling you.
And it gives us the opportunity to coordinate with any government agency or federal agency that has a stake in this, such as ERCOT, PUC, LCRA, TCEQ. You know, what's their plan? Why is this stuff coming? Why are they bringing it into a pristine environment in the hill country where we typically have droughts and don't have water available to fight a fire if there ever is a thermal runaway, as well as, you know, we're in a pigma. Our groundwater is precious. So we just want to make sure that everything that can be done reasonably, practically, can be done to regulate these things so that we minimize the risk to the health and safety and welfare of our public, our constituents, who expect us to do all we can. You know, we don't know how successful it will be or won't be, but we've heard from a number of different experts, and I'll provide you with some contacts for Waller County Judge Trey Duhan.
I know him personally.
Well, good. Give him a call and ask him, what's the downside? He has experience doing this.
Our outside counsel, when he was here the other day, said he didn't see a problem with it.
That's right.
You sit on ACOG, you're the head dog there. That's a 391, I understand.
I understand, but I know what it does. I'm trying to figure out what this one's gonna do.
Yeah. Well, again,
And you
this
use
one
the
can
word
bring
you.
those agencies to us, let them explain
Okay.
what their plan is
This is an
and
opportunity
what
for
they're
us
going to do.
to discuss it, Rich.
Sure.
And you use the word regulate, and we use that word loosely.
I didn't use it from our standpoint. I used
used
it
it
from
just
the
a minute
standpoint
ago.
of the state. Yes,
Okay.
our state legislature has to pass laws relative to any regulations. We don't do that. We
That's right.
can't do that as a commission. I want to make that perfectly clear. I know you've been concerned about it. A sub-regional planning commission will not regulate anything. This court can't regulate anything to do with battery energy storage systems.
That's correct. And what I wanted to discuss with the court is that the only authorities that county courts have are given to us by the legislature.
Exactly.
We either have the constitutional powers that were in the 1876 Constitution, or it has to be given to counties specifically by the legislature. Unlike cities, municipalities can zone. They can control how the land is used. We can't. We can't regulate that. We haven't been given that authority to do that. And so when we talk about regulations, we look to TCEQ, or we look to TETA, Department of Emergency Management, or whatever to help us with these things. They're the ones that regulate, not the counties. And so this would be some kind of body that's created by the counties that would take input from the county and do what with it? That's what I'm trying to find out, Rich.
coordinate. It gives us a chance to ask questions from these other government agencies, such as TCEQ.
And the county could not do that on their own? The commissioner, let me rephrase that. The
We have
Commissioners
no
Court could not do
specific
that
authority, no.
to ask them
But a
questions?
391 commission does.
So that's the difference
And,
between the
you know,
court.
Waller County sued TxDOT and brought them to the table. They forced them to show up in a planning meeting. And that was instrumental, and it was quite successful in their purpose. And again, feel free to reach out to Trey Duhan, Waller County Judge. He's been very helpful and has practical experience.
Well, you're here representing a group of people that wants to do something,
Yep.
and I'm asking you what it is you want to do, and
Sure.
what's it gonna look like? How are you gonna do it?
Okay, we've set the stage. Why don't we hear from some of these people that want to speak? I know the commissioners at Kendall have to get back and canvass their votes this afternoon, so let's start listening to some of them.
Okay. Well, this is gonna be a conversation, not just lectures.
Sure.
So,
We start with Chad Carpenter, who's the commissioner for Kendall County. And the reason I say
Got three of
that,
them.
just so we find out, that's really important.
Right, their input.
Yeah.
And we have,
There's
we
two
have
that
two
have to go back
commissioners
for
and
canvassing.
a commissioner-elect from Kendall, so I would say let's listen to them right off the bat.
the three I've got are Andrea Wizian,
Yes.
Jennifer McCall, and Chad Carpenter,
Right.
right? Who wants to go first? We don't care.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
No, okay, there you go.
So, good afternoon. My name is Andra Wiesian. I'm Kendall County Commissioner Precinct 2. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I bring official greetings from the Kendall County Commissioners Court. I was selected to represent the court today since, as you know, we voted unanimously at the last meeting to have a joint meeting with you. Mr. Paces reached out after y'all's court last Tuesday, and that just didn't get done. It was just too few days to get that scheduled and get the logistics of video or being out of our county having a meeting. So I just wanted to let you know that we did formally unanimously vote to pursue the 391 Sub-Regional Planning Commission with you all. I think we're still interested in that. I am personally interested in that, and we still do want to have a joint meeting, and we'll get with our general counsel and see how we can get that done. Meanwhile, I wanted to
I'll
let you
tell
know that,
we're
I'm
going to
sorry?
our council, and it's more difficult than I thought.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I didn't know it was gonna be that difficult.
we can't.
Yes,
let the
sir,
county
and
do
every-
what
We
be
can't
able
leave the
to
county,
either.
we have to have the meeting in the county.
And you would have the same
You have the
rules,
same
yes.
problem. But the lawyers will be the ones who tell us how to do it.
Yes, sir, that's correct, and I appreciate it, all of you understanding that, and we're just letting the public know that that's what we wanted to do, and it didn't work out. But our Representative Troxclair just recently it was last Friday, filed House Bill 1343 that has to do with the regulation and permitting and fees of battery energy storage systems, so we're real excited about that. I believe your representative-elect may be doing something similar, and I have talked to our Senator Donna Campbell's office, and they're interested in filing a companion bill. So I think we're making some traction. I really appreciate all of you. I know what it takes to serve, and I know what it takes to suffer the slings and arrows, and you all are doing a great job. We look forward to continuing to work with you, and I'm going to go to the Kendall County Courthouse and canvass the vote. Have a great meeting.
Thank you. Somebody help me with this.
Chad Carpenter,
Chad Carpenter.
Kendall County Commissioner.
Chad Carpenter.
Hi, my name's Chad Carpenter. I'm Kendall County Commissioner, Precinct 4. The question that the judge, I appreciate y'all letting us come and be part of this today. The question that you keep asking about what can the 391 do? Over the weekend, we had a public notice in our newspaper in Comfort that described a development coming, and they're asking TCEQ for 600,000 gallons per day of treated sewage. That equivalents, it's about 1,200 homes, possibly more. We're not in the conversation. No one in our development office knew about it. Cow Creek Water has no knowledge of it. I've never heard of it. We don't know when someone buys property. That's not information that's given to your local government. What I could see is a 391 would allow us to be part of the discussion early on and not after the fact. So in this case, we would have been aware of what was being asked for in the very beginning of the permit phase and not when they're ready to submit a development application. And really, that is enough for me to join hands with Kirk County and actually form a commission that requires the state agencies to let us be part of that conversation. And I don't think there's another reason that we need to go through this, as long as it's legal and I understand the legal concerns.
Well, Chad, my issue is not what it could do, but what is it that specifically that y'all want to do with it?
I don't know how else to answer that. I mean, we want to be part of the equation, but we also want to sit at the table and discuss the concerns the public has. We don't want to be submitting just a letter that's sent through the mail or an email saying, here's my concern, please listen to me. I'd rather be sitting at the table with someone from TCEQ
Of course.
discussing what they're looking at and telling them the reasons why, face to face, why this is a bad idea, or why we don't want their development to be permitted and allowed to move forward.
But wouldn't whoever serves on this 391 reflect the sentiments of their respective courts that created them? In other words, wouldn't you, I take it you come up with some recommendations, bring those recommendations back to make sure the courts approve that, and then once they do, that's what you advocate?
For sure, the 391 Commission, as a representative for Kendall County, if I was that person appointed by our court, I would only be representing what the court's wishes were. I wouldn't be going off on my own trying to, there's no way I would stray away from what the designed purpose of my participation in that meeting would be. And so, but it would also be, and my hope is always that your local government is reflecting the will of the people, not just the will of me, Chad.
Sure.
So,
Well, but the building blocks would be the two counties, as I understand it, Kendall County and Kirk County.
could be.
And-
Yeah.
Well, okay, if that's
Well, we
what-
have a presentation that talks about the makeup of the commission and what we're proposing at this stage.
Okay,
okay.
well, that's what I'm
And-
asking, what are you proposing?
And to answer Commissioner Overby's question earlier, Judge Duhan, who is watching us on YouTube, says, 391s have the power of coordination that does not belong to individual counties. Coordination is a legal term. It means being treated by the state or federal agency as an equal partner in the process. So they cannot just legally dictate what will happen. That's from Judge Duhan.
Okay, appreciate that.
I just don't see the harm in each of our courts having representatives reflecting specific purposes where we're specifically confined to a purpose and not expanding into our own will on a 391 commission where it's very specific as the purpose of it. But the 391 commission could be public water systems that someone applies for. It could be mud systems that someone applies for. It could be, you could expand it to whatever you want and also change it and drop different ideas if you don't want to have that as part of your commission.
But that would come from the counties, right?
That would be completely from the counties. And I know that the wording in if you formed a 391, would have to match exactly identical to what we use for our county. It would have to be completely the same language going into this. So.
Question, since we're talking about say TCEQ, the lithium or a battery, or it doesn't make any difference what the issue is with TCEQ. So the 391 group or committee then meets with TCEQ, and then then that committee comes back to the respective counties and for guidance? I mean, I guess it's,
They could. Certainly, they have the authority under a 391 to call any state or government agency to the table to coordinate and to plan. It's an open meeting, so anyone can attend any meeting of the Sub-Regional Planning Commission, including, well, we have to be careful with the quorum, but you could have other people from our Commissioner's Court. But the point is, just one of the suggestions I received from Judge Duhan was that we might want TCEQ to carry out an environmental impact study on one of these best facilities.
Who's we?
The commission, per se. Maybe Kirk County wants it. I'm just saying that was a suggestion from Judge Duhan.
An
That
example.
it's one thing that might be valuable, you know, if we ask them, as Kirk County, we've already seen a response from TCEQ that said they don't have to permit these things, so they're not officially gonna do anything. A 391 can force them to the table, and we can investigate that a little bit further. I think that they probably can do a lot more than they so far are willing to do.
So,
And-
and Judge, you're worried about the legal issues, that would be coming from TCEQ. That wouldn't be coming from
Exactly.
Kirk County or Kendall County.
I'm
You
not
know-
worried about Kerr, I'm not worried about Kendall, I'm not worried about TCEQ. I'm worried about these property owners and how it affects their rights. That's what I'm worried about.
Well, TCEQ would be the one that'd be monitoring it.
Sure.
That would be them. So we've heard from our
So-
outside counsel that said he didn't see a problem with it. Our county attorney, I believe, said she hadn't seen a problem with it. I don't see the downside.
I have an
Sounds
example.
like to me that this group is going to confront state agencies and try to impact
Possibly.
regulation.
I think sway would be the word.
Okay? Well,
Cruise it in there.
but they're the ones that have the
politely.
authority to regulate.
That's right.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And so you'd be trying to influence
Sway them.
them and how they regulate.
And they say yay or nay.
Sure.
I got that. But then, whatever it is you're asking them to do would come back through the courts.
Probably not.
Not through this court.
Maybe it's done in
I'm not sure
TCEQ.
what do you mean?
Well, let's just say the 391 wants the TCEQ to change something. Change it from X to Y.
Well, I think if we just ask TCEQ to change something, they're gonna say, go take a flying hike. But if we ask them to do a study and to evaluate whether they might have some other regulations that should come into play, that's okay. I mean, we had a meeting last night with the ESD number 3, and we heard from a fire marshal who, you know, there are a lot of angles you can go down with the fire code, and having even the state fire marshal investigate one of these things. And they're gonna investigate it according to the latest standard. So there are all kind of other resources, and we can
Who's
call
gonna-
the fire marshal to the
I'm listening.
commission as well.
I'm trying to absorb this.
Yeah.
Who's gonna tell the 391 what to ask or tell TCEQ?
The members of the 391 commission, I suppose.
they're
I mean, they
autonomous.
can certainly,
They don't answer
to a
back
certain
the
degree,
counties.
but
You'd
you know,
have two of them
you would
from
have
this
two
board.
members of this court that I would like to think would be more than willing to take on direction from the court.
And come back and talk to the court.
Sure.
Probably in executive session about that.
If
In
need be.
executive session.
Well,
I
but
mean,
it
again,
could be either.
this is all public
Yeah, you're
meeting
right.
stuff.
There won't be executive
You're right,
session.
you're right. It wouldn't be.
Most of it wouldn't be.
Yeah, you're right. It wouldn't be. But still, it'd come back to the court. What's going on?
But what if the court says, no, we don't wanna do it, and the 391 group does?
That's my concern. Well, do they take instruction from
Or
the
vice
two county
versa.
courts?
They would have to, and they would also be removed as the representative of the court if they weren't reflecting the will of the court. And I just have an example, for instance. Right now, every substation you see throughout your county is a potential target. What you don't know is how many of these substations have already had an application for an interconnectivity agreement with whatever transmission line company runs that substation. If we're not part of that discussion, we have no idea that's happening. It could be 2 years into the making before we're even knowledgeable of what's happening. But I do appreciate your time. I do have to run, but I appreciate your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chad.
And then the
If
third
you don't mind, let-
commissioner,
Well, go ahead, yeah,
this is
Oh,
Jennifer
I don't think
McCall.
she has to leave, though.
No,
Are you planning to leave, or are you gonna stick around?
saying.
Good. She's commissioner-elect.
Okay.
She doesn't have to do a canvas.
I'm changing what I am going to say because of what the judge said. My name's Jennifer McCall. I'm Commissioner-elect Precinct 1, Kendall County. I take office in January. I have spoken to Judge Duhan on several occasions, and I have a different way to approach this. As far as the 391 is concerned, it is a tool. We talk about how counties do not have a tool. This doesn't regulate. This doesn't do anything other than take the sub-regional, and it has to be two counties, a city and a county, and it can also include school districts, but it has to at least start with 2. It makes any governmental agency, LCRA, the Public Utilities Commission, have to bring that sub-regional to the table when they are permitting and things like that, so that we have a say. We have no way to regulate. We can ask, though. We would like an environmental study, because this effluent for Kendall County, the proposed BESS is on one end, an ingress, no egress, that goes into the Guadalupe. So any kind of firefighting, chemicals, things like that are going to go into. So we've talked about TCEQ, who isn't permitting, but could be part of it. So any governmental agency that is part of this, whether it's permitting or maybe down the road, has to bring this sub-regional to the table. Judge Duhan, their sub-regional was tested in a court in January of 2017. I think that Commissioner Paces gave a copy of that to you all. And it was shown to have standing. And he's a lawyer, the judge here is a lawyer, our county judge is a lawyer, and to me that speaks volumes, because it means that this is legitimate. This 391 has been tested and it can be used. They used it for a different type of plan, and the big part of these BESSes is that we can't stop them. Mason County had a 391 and they stopped a high transmission line from going through Mason County because they had a 391, and they said, we want to be part of this. We want to know what environmental impact this transmission line is going to have. This was back in 2009. Because they knew that there was a 391 formed, they knew they were going to have to make that environmental study, provide it to the county, because again, they had a seat at the table. The sub-regional is part of that talk. And when they realized they were going to have to do that environmental study, they dropped Mason County from that line, because they knew they were going to have to coordinate. And coordinate means bringing everyone to the table. So the sub-regional is basically just because we have no voice, we can't stop this, but we can be part of all the permitting process that any of this goes through. The way that Judge Duhan explained it to me, and again, he's the expert, and that's why it would be helpful to have both he and Dan Byfield, who has been the person who has helped every 391 along the way. Terry Hall has been experienced in it too. They're the ones that have all the information about, I lost my train of thought. But anyway, again, it's been used, it brings us to the table. What I was going to say is that the bylaws, the way that Judge Duhan explained it to me, is the bylaws can be written to what's going on. They have a sub-regional that they hadn't used for a number of years. It's not something that they're using all the time. It's when there is a case for it, I believe. A transmission line or a train coming through their county, that's what they were, high-speed rail. So it can apply to a number of things. It's just the coordination that these two counties have. The sub-regional is your collective group together. It's under the state's rules. It's part of our legislature. We're allowed to use it. It's a tool. We say we don't have tools. We have one. We need to activate it.
Question that maybe you may be able to answer, I don't know. So how does the state agency, and it could be one of these, I mean, when I'm reading through section 2 is the authority. How does a state agency know that 391 exists? Are they responsible automatically for searching that, or how does that interaction take?
I'm not sure that I know that Judge Duhan could give credence to that exact, but right now, we know, as far as buses are concerned, LCRA and the Public Utilities Commission, and I believe ERCOT are the 3 government agencies. And so he could tell us exactly how to actually activate and make sure we're at the table. That part, I'm not sure of. I just know with my conversation with him that.
My understanding is that a letter is sent from the commission. Once the commission is fully formed,
Okay.
then it has the powers. It's constituted under Chapter 391, and it would send a letter to the agencies that it's calling to meet with. And
So it would
from
be
Judge
all-
Du,
So the commission would then send a letter to all state agencies?
well, no,
Say
whichever ones you want to come to the meeting.
But this is worded very broadly. You're talking about transmission lines,
Sure.
energy, so you have to have PUC, TCEQ, TxDOT. I mean, those are just.
Probably not text off,
I-
but
Yeah,
certainly
if
the
you're
others.
gonna go under a road or near a road, TxDOT has to get permits. So, I mean, it's almost, there are so many state agencies, obviously, Water Development Board, no, they wouldn't apply, but, so you send it to them, and then they're obligated to contact the 391 if they're gonna do anything within
Well,
the 2 counties?
Your question as a follow-up to her statement was, when they learned that there was a 391, they backed off of Mason County. So how did they learn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I
Was it
believe that
from
the letter was
commission
sent
or from their end, yeah. That's just
through the Council of Governments.
technical.
Through the Council of Governments, I believe that they recognize that 391. Again, some of these specifics,
Yeah.
it would be
I
great to
hear you.
have Judge Duhan on here so he could answer specifically, but as far as coordinating and actually,
Yeah.
I believe it's sent through the Council of Governments.
And,
But
and
again,
Judge
we can't-
Duhan is listening.
Oh, good.
Or
I
watching,
thought he
rather.
was. I thought he
And
was.
he's welcome for anybody to contact him, reach out on the court. He does point out that the commission follows the instruction of its members, which are the commissioners' courts. If a commission does anything the court does not like, then the court can withdraw from the commission at any time. The commission cannot bind the court to do anything it does not want to do.
And so how long do you serve? How do you get on and off?
That's covered in our bylaws.
Right.
And all we have is
That went
draft
out to
bylaws right
everybody.
now.
I
It did.
I didn't.
You got it, right?
Yeah, I figured
I
it
didn't
out.
get it.
So, I mean, to me, looking at this, I mean, the meat of this that really needs to be discussed, I mean, I think everyone's in favor of doing
Yeah.
this. I mean, it's just figuring out how it works. As you look at section 2,
Which document are you looking at? The bylaws?
Bylaws.
Okay.
section 2 is the authority that's granted to the 391. And there's 5 items listed on there, and to me, that's where we need to focus discussion is
Sure.
because that's exactly what the 391 does. The rest of it's,
When we did the Public Defender's Office, the 5 counties, we had a committee that worked to put together all kinds of organizational documents to bring to the respective courts. There were 5 counties, and we brought it to each of the 5 counties' courts, and reviewed it and tweaked it as we went along, depending on what the input was from another county, because we all ended up entering into a 5-county interlocal agreement. So are we really, is the commitment that we're seeking here, that you're seeking, is to put together a group to put something like this together for us, or is this the final version?
I think the 391 is the vehicle we want.
Well, I understand the
But
vehicle,
how
but
do
then
we
you got
get,
the document.
how do we get section 2 that both counties agree to is the question. That's all the meat of it.
Well, and again, that's why we circulated draft bylaws, so that we could weigh in on them and
That's right.
hopefully come up with something that both commissioners' courts can agree to.
But-
So if you have suggested edits to make, by all means.
This is
happy
a
to-
rough draft.
Yes, it is. It's just a draft.
Well, I think the
Well,
first,
I understand that, but in the past, the way we've done it is, we have a committee of this, from this court, not necessarily us, but a committee, that comes back and keeps us appraised as we go through the process of putting it together. And we wrestle with each one of these little issues to get them mutual agreement on it. Are these documents meant to be what we're going to enact?
Have you looked at them?
I haven't, no, I haven't.
You haven't looked at it? It went out
They
to everybody.
came out last week.
I didn't get it.
Uh,
I'm not in the
It went
county
to
commissioners
commissioners.co.
group. Yeah,
How can you not be after all this time?
I don't know what I'm not getting if I don't get it.
So every time somebody sends ones to
The one you talked about,
If you remember,
the election
the CIP
issue,
came
I
in
didn't get
here
that either.
countless times to talk about each little issues we put together, all of those documents, to be able to have the 5-county PDO.
Group?
This is 2 counties, which ought to be easier than 5.
Sure.
But we ought to have some kind of committee, a joint committee, people from Kendall, people from Kirk, and
We've
work on
kind
these
of already
documents
had
and come
that.
in and
I
report.
think
We've
we've
had
been doing
Don, we've
that.
had myself, we've had Jeff Holt. I mean, and we've been meeting with 2 of their commissioners plus Commissioner-elect. So in a way, we've had that. That's the basis for the documents that were circulated last week.
But you haven't come in and reported to the court and walked us through it so that we are on board. I mean, Commissioner.
That's what today is kind of about, isn't it? I
Well-
mean, and if we'll let Jeff Holt give the presentation, I think a lot more will be clear. But again, these are all documents, his presentation's kind of a cut and paste from the documents that have already been circulated to the court last week.
I guess, that's an example. I'm gonna go to number 4. Coordinate energy planning efforts with appropriate state and federal agencies as required by regulations, statutes, and formal local government code. I read that. That means every time Bandera Electric Company goes and does something, they've gotta run it through 391. I mean, this is way too broad for me.
Okay?
I mean, because energy planning is every subdivision, I put a new water well on my ranch, well, they have to come and do easements. I mean, they do, and that's planning. And so,
Yeah.
that's my thing that's what I'm hearing in on section 2. That needs to be very specific as to what that 391 is gonna do. And to me, it needs to start, initially anyway, with best, the first thing.
I'm fine with that.
Section 2.
I think
is
we
very,
should
very-
keep it very narrow.
The first paragraph is very broad.
You can
And
get
that
it
first
bigger as it
paragraph
goes,
needs to
yeah.
start out with saying, as the following related to best only.
Okay?
Yeah.
We can do that?
Yeah. I mean, that's what you're,
I mean, hey, if you will give me specific comments on the draft bylaws, we'll run it past Kendall County and I'd like to think we can all agree.
okay.
These aren't intended to be
Well, no,
locked in.
that's what I was saying, so
Yeah,
if you want me to do that later, then
please
that's all
do,
I need.
absolutely. That would be
Might
wonderful.
take you forever to get it.
Commissioner Pieces, can you look at the Waller County one that they adopted? That might be helpful as guidance.
That was the starting
Okay.
point for everything. So we didn't just invent bylaws. We took an existing set of bylaws that was from Waller County, and then we edited it to the extent possible for our circumstances.
I mean, the rest of the document, maybe want to tweak a few things here and there, but it's that,
Have at it.
section 2 is the issue.
Sure.
to me.
I have no concern whatsoever with that. I think that would be great.
And that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
Let's tweak it. Let's get it close to what we want.
Sure.
And get something done.
And to echo on that comment, these things are coming fast and furious. And we've seen some draft legislation that's being proposed that will grandfather anything if it gets passed. And of course, we don't know whether it's gonna get passed or not. But if it does, it'll grandfather anything that's done up to October 25th of next year. So you think they already have incentive to move quickly before any of the Green New Deal federal money dries up? Absolutely. So they're gonna be moving fast. We can't afford to delay and work out every last little detail.
I agree.
So,
Well, we need
anyway,
details
but-
ironed out, but let's get it
Enough,
done.
I agree,
You
but we have time. I just need everybody to focus on it.
Okay, you answered my first question, and I understand that. The other one I had was funding.
No funding required.
Are
Not-
you
not by the county.
Are you not gonna need an attorney on your group to help you? 'Cause
If
we
the group needs
spend
an
a lot
attorney,
on
the group
attorneys.
will have to seek funding for the attorney.
And where would they seek that from?
You never know.
Are they
Fundraising.
people that are behind the
Yeah.
county? We're not seeking it from any of y'all. This money, we
No,
won't, we
no,
won't,
no, and I don't think the county wants
Ma'am,
to fund it
ma'am,
either.
go to-
You can't have
Yeah, you
money
got to
for
be
it.
at the podium.
My name is Audrey Berner, Valley Drive here in Kirk County, Flat Rock Creek in Kendall County. I want to just educate y'all quite a bit because y'all have known about this judge for over 4 weeks. You're telling us that you're intelligent, you've been in the law for 50 years. You haven't even read the documents that were sent to you. No, let me speak.
He
You
didn't get
haven't,
the
you have
Well,
not read the
she's the one who did
documents that
send
were
it.
sent to you.
Well, I didn't
This
get it.
court unanimously voted to get together with Kendall County. Kendall County unanimously voted to get together with Kirk County. We had commissioners on both sides getting both courts together. Y'all sat back, did everything that y'all could to prevent this from happening. We have brought you subject matter expert Judge Duhan, who has used this in Texas to protect his citizens and his county. Maybe not against Bess's, but doing the best for his county and his citizens. We brought him to y'all. We brought you subject matter expert Dan Byfield from American Stewards of Liberty, probably the foremost expert in 391s, to come to y'all. We brought them. Y'all asked for a meeting so that y'all could work it out with Kendall County to get all of this figured out. We have done everything for y'all. We, the people. You do not deserve to be sitting in the chair that you are sitting in. You
Ma'am, I'm
should
not gonna
step
listen to you
down.
just say things like that. Will you
Yes,
sit
sir.
down? Or leave the room, one or the other, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
Sir,
Because
with-
you
with
want,
the-
you wait, I want to listen to me. You are asking us to have an illegal meeting.
No, sir, I'm
No,
not.
you did. You said you wanted us in Kendall County. We're not gonna do it. I'm not gonna participate in an illegal meeting. I don't care what you want. I am not gonna participate in an illegal meeting.
I didn't ask you to
Yes, you
participate
did.
in
You
an
asked us to
illegal.
get
No,
together
sir.
with Kendall
No,
County.
sir. You have a lawyer and a judge. You have a lawyer there.
Right.
Y'all
And I'm
have
listening.
outside lawyer counsel. You have a lawyer and 2 lawyers in Kendall County. And y'all can't even figure out if y'all can meet or not.
We do
And-
figure out we cannot meet together jointly. That was the ruling of the county attorney.
We have incurred thousands of dollars of attorney's fees to do this the right way, because you weren't doing it the
Of
right
course.
way.
Yes, we are doing it the right way, sir.
Our
and we
lawyer
have
said
come to
you
y'all.
weren't.
You have known about a 391 commission, sir, for 4.5 weeks, and you have not done any research, sir. What are you? Why are we paying you if you're not doing any research? You have a lawyer there. You have
Judge, I'm
outside
gonna believe that
counsel.
This continues. I'm not gonna put up with this.
How am I being disrespectful or
See,
rude,
when you're
Commissioner
finished
Letts?
talking, I'll come back in the floor.
No, I have answers from Judge Duhan. Y'all had questions. How am I being rude or disrespectful? Please tell me, because I will correct
Just
my
watch it,
actions.
watch it on YouTube and you'll see.
So you can't even tell me that, sir?
Tell you what,
Tell me how I'm being rude and disrespectful and why a gentleman has to leave the room.
because you're yelling at us.
Okay, I will tone myself down. I'm so sorry about the yelling. But we have come to you. We came to y'all 4.5 weeks ago with this, sir. We came to y'all. We have done everything to bring y'all the information. We have foreign countries that want to come into our county and install China-made lithium batteries. Our own Department of Defense is removing all the China-made lithium batteries off of all of our military installations. Our own local and trusted and loved and respected law enforcement and firefighters that I have spoken with in Kendall County do not want these. I haven't spoken to the fine gentleman here, but those in Kendall County don't want these. Those are the people that are gonna have to put their lives on the line anytime there's a catastrophic failure with these. Why don't y'all go to them and talk to them, get their input, get the volunteer firefighters' input on all of this information. You have all of these people that are willing to die for us, this fine gentleman right here and that gentleman there, but y'all haven't even sought them out. Y'all have known about this for 4.5 weeks. Y'all can call a special meeting. You just told us, Judge Duhan, you know him. Pick up the phone by yourself, call him. Pick up the phone and call him. Call Dan Byfield of American Stewards of Liberty.
Well,
I don't
I learned
understand.
yesterday that Waller County Court, Commissioners Court, is represented by the same lawyers that represent us, which is good. It will help us work through some of these issues.
Okay,
But
why
I found
are
that
you-
out yesterday.
Why are you so opposed to this, sir? Can you please just help me understand? Because I'm not being rude, I'm not being disrespectful. I don't understand why you're opposed to this. The funding comes from us, or we have a pro bono attorney. It doesn't come from any of y'all. We're not asking, we don't want money from the government, because when you do that, you get in bed with the government. I don't want to be in bed with government. So why are you opposed to this, sir?
I want it done right, and it's not being done right.
Okay, you've had 4.5 weeks. What more can we do for you, sir? Seriously, what do you want us to do to bring it to you so that y'all can get it right? Because we brought you both courts.
I don't think it's necessary that we do this.
Okay, sir, how are we gonna fight these messes, and how are we gonna protect our citizens? How are we gonna protect our groundwater? Have you looked at Fredericktown, Missouri, that just had a battery lithium, a recycling plant just burned up, and they have 3 miles and thousands of fish that are dead? And they can't figure out if that's from what was in the lithium batteries, or they can't figure out if it was what was used to extinguish or to try to put out the fire. What more do you need? Because Judge, I will do whatever you want me to do to help you understand this.
Can I make a suggestion that we allow Jeff Holt to speak?
Sorry.
I
Jeff.
think that would be very helpful to get everybody on the same page. And in the meantime, I'll just,
I do have a clarification, and there were some things that were misstated. I pulled up the email with all the supplemental stuff.
Right.
You and I are the only ones that received them.
really?
The rest of the court
It
did
went
not
to,
receive
it
them.
went to commissioners at
But
co.cur.text.us.
that group was
That's
not
not
put
They
everybody.
didn't get it.
That group.
It's not, it wasn't on this original email.
I will give you everything.
It's been withheld from me.
I will give
This
you
whole thing's being
everything.
done in secret as far as I know.
Oh, bull, nothing done in secret, but you were omitted, just like Ann was, and so,
Honestly, I thought commissioners.co.cur.
and there's all the
Text.us went to
supplement
all of
right
us.
there.
Anyway,
Bylaws and everything else.
yeah.
I would, yeah.
Judge, if we may, can we maybe bring back the Commissioner Lutz back in?
That's up to Commissioner Letts.
I could go ask him if you would like.
And just for the record, Judge Duhan has said you don't have to contact every state agency. You use it when it's needed, and at that time, you send a letter notice to the applicable agencies requesting coordination on that specific issue. If you want the 391 to be specific as to one issue, you can certainly do that. Then he says it just means that if something comes up later, a different issue, then you have to create another 391, or you have to amend the bylaws, et cetera, to allow you to address the new issue. His advice is keep it generic, but it's up to the members of the 391. And he said, Commissioner Letts, the state agency does not have to coordinate with the 391 unless the 391 requests it. So you're going to be very specific who you ask to come to the table.
Makes sense?
And my only question about asking for funding is that the members would, I'm sorry, my question on funding is the members would therefore have some kind of liability. And so that might be of some interest of people that are serving on the commission.
Okay. Jeff covers that in his presentation, if we can.
How long is your presentation?
We have a presentation. How long is the answer? Is how long you want to make it, honestly. I don't want it to be here for an hour.
Or how quick it can go?
Yeah, honestly,
The highlight tour?
we have to put this on one sheet of music. And the challenge is to coordinate amongst all of y'all with the Open Meetings Act, right?
Yeah.
And some of y'all feel like a little bit excluded, so we chose today to put everything in a PowerPoint. I have learned, because I've given a few briefs in my life, to not read off the PowerPoint. I want to make sure that all the information is up there for you so you have a chance to digest it. Look at the section 2, look at the membership, look at all the questions and answers. We put it all on one sheet of music because this is a tough pig to wrestle. It really is, and I fully admit that. So I thank the court for actually coming together and to examine this very tough problem. And what we're talking about is bringing together a new commission, a 391, because we have a tough problem, and that's electricity. We already have a tough problem, and it's water. And we brought together a lot of folks in commissions and bodies to study that. Headwaters, represented here by Commissioner or elect Tom Jones, UGRA, TCEQ. Water's a real issue. So is electrical for the future, because what we're looking at, and what I'm going to explain quickly, in 15 minutes, you can start the clock, Ann, is to figure out what updates we have to this. And if you want to, you can deep dive in this whole brief, and it's now public. So now everyone will see what the questions and answers are and what our proposal is. And this thing is a draft. We put it together by several meetings, and we expect it to change. But we want all of y'all to have a piece of this, because I think that's your role. Next slide. Here's an agenda. I'm going to go through the overview, what's changed, a little bit on commissions, membership, and then the bylaws are in there. The really wordy stuff is the bylaws and the Q&A. So you've already dug deep into some of that. Thank you. Next slide. So what's changed on that? You know, I felt silly giving you a 1975 map about 6 weeks ago, and I found out yesterday the reason why. And that's, by the way, wrong. There's actually 13 substations in Kirk County, not 7. And I realized that after finally getting through to the LCRA electrical leader, if you will. And there's a reason a lot of this is not on a current map. Not because they're lazy, not because they don't want to show it, because they cannot show it. It's critical infrastructure. So you will not find a good detailed map that's out there, shows you exactly where everything is and exactly how it works, because it's not intended to. And as a guy who's actually protected our infrastructure before and in the U.S. and overseas, I get it. But what I'm asking for you, Judge, in this court is trust into people that get on this commission, that they will be your people that study it and inform the court on what is coming up next. So I know I'm the new guy and you don't know me that well, but I'm asking you to trust me and whoever else you want to put on this commission between us and Kendall to study this and come back to the court with solutions to help inform regulators. We're not the regulators. Help bring agencies together because we need a voice at the table. Yeah, so it's now 7, and I also realize the importance of comfort even more so when talking recently with ERCOT's electrical guy, which connections we would not have had before we had not started this journey of being informed by what's out there for the future of BESS. So again, there's substantial growth. 830 different BESS facilities are planned for Texas. Next slide. Okay, update to this one. Right in the middle is the storage. 2020 was at 275 required megawatts. And now you see the requirement up there for storage that comes from ERCOT. They wanted by 2025, 18,640. Well, so that's 18 gigawatts of storage. By 2029, what's not on there is they want 32,500 megawatts, or 32 gigawatts of power for storage. So this is a growing enterprise that we believe, because of the risk that's provided or the risk that's incurred by these facilities, we need to have a seat at the table. This is not simply power lines or generating stations. It's captured power. And captured power, as the middle picture illustrates, can be very dangerous if you make some mistakes. And I want to illustrate some of the mistakes that are made. Those are detailed in concerns. But in 1 minute, it's about one thing. It's about changing out those batteries. If you do it in a power drill or you do it in a large facility, and they have to replace out every battery 4 times over the lifespan of 20 years. Can you imagine that? All those individual cells keep getting replaced in one single facility, especially when it's 100 megawatts or 250 megawatts, which is what they're looking like in Comfort, that size facility. All that incurring risk to make sure you have the right facilities and the right batteries that are replaced. If you don't, and one battery catches on fire, then the whole, if you will, not the whole plant, but at least one full set, like a container, a 40-foot container, can catch on fire pretty easily. And that's what you're going to deal with, like what we dealt with in Junction not too long ago, or what they dealt with in Missouri, which is very challenging, or what that picture illustrates, which is in San Diego. So that's the potential. That's nothing new, but I had to update you on the growth, and I've got that just recently by discussions. And I think that's important to inform the court where it's growing. Like, for instance, I don't know that many people knew there's actually 3 different BESSes being planned in Comfort. Not 2, there's 3, and it's on their website. I found that out today. Now, Mountain Home, which is the one in Kirk County being looked at, has been looked at since 2022. We just heard about it a few weeks ago, right? They've been negotiating, submitting with ERCOT and the Public Utilities Commission and LCRA for several years. So that's why we believe this needs to be a seat at the table. Next slide. I did update you on comfort on the 3 that have been in place since 2021. And the fire is a potential, but also the environmental. That's why we're really here, is to make sure whatever we do as a 391 commission keeps in mind health, welfare, and safety. And a lot of that has to do with our environment. Now, this is the only flood zone A that gets close to a BES, and that's in Comfort. And why do we care about Comfort? Not because I teach high school there, but because I live there and I need that power. And when the power went out yesterday for 2 hours and they almost sent everyone home from school, you get a realization like, oh man, this could be not good, especially in the long term if something happens a mile away from that, which is the school just to the west, or the highway just to the south, or just to the southeast, which is the Guadalupe River. This is just an example of how important this is, and this is the major hub of power. 345 kV lines coming in all the way from the west, and then 138 kV lines coming in and distributing it to Kerr County. And I have to admit, after speaking with LCRA, is that we're not completely dependent on Comfort. They're smart. They found ways to bring power in through Bandera, which are not reflected in the 1975 map, hence the critical infrastructure. They want to ensure redundancy. So I stand corrected in that. But I wouldn't have known it if we had not discussed this with LCRA or ERCOT. And I'm grateful for Randa Stevenson of LCRA for helping me be informed on the logical network and about the growth of BES. That's what we need to do as a 391. We need to learn more and inform the court more how valuable electricity is and about how potentially damaging it could be for our environment if we don't help regulators understand there are safeguards that could be at play. For instance, and there's a lot of those that are in the concerns indicated on the right. Containment is a major issue, not just within the 40-foot container, but within the whole facility itself. If you start dousing water to keep it cool on the other 8 containers or so, that water needs to be contained on site, not running downhill into the flood zone A, into the Guadalupe River, where I like to fish. We don't want that. We don't need that. We have to be able to make sure that, that water, just like any fuel depot or fuel tanks, has a berm around it and a container. Right now, that's not required in NFPA 1. That's not required at all. That's the kind of suggestions we would like to bring together to those folks that are developers, to have a unified voice to say, we would like you to partner up with the fire department. We would like you to ensure there's containment. We would like to make sure there's a reclamation bond, not just an ask, but a reclamation bond at the end of 20 years to ensure that they protect this potential project and that it actually provides the right tax value. Because I'm not going to ignore the benefits as well as the drawbacks of this. And the benefits are, as we've discussed, significant tax revenue. Each of these sites are $80 million sites, taxable, over a lifespan of 20 years, not including the sales tax that goes with it. If we're looking at shortage of funds in the future because we lose grant money, that's hard to ignore. That's both sides of me being objective. But in the future, this BES in Comfort could have some issues because it's 250 plus 100 plus another one that's out there, which they have not disclosed the megawatt size, all going into Key Hub, which provides power into Kirk County residents. That's where I get my power from. So, yes, sir.
Yeah, Jeff, I just think we ought to inform the court that, you know, we've met with CARFA, which is the Kerr area regional. It's all the fire departments, the fire chiefs. And we had an ESD meeting last night. Under the state fire code, these facilities are required to coordinate with the local fire departments to ensure that they actually can respond, whether they have access in and out of the facility, whether there's enough water, whether they have adequate foam equipment. And as a volunteer firefighter, I can tell you, none of us do. Comfort doesn't, Centerpoint doesn't. You know, so that has to be part of the discussion. And we need to bring the state fire marshal into this Again, that's almost a little separate, but it's not that we need new regulations. We already have a fire code. It's just Kirk County can't adopt it, but the state fire marshal can inspect to the latest code.
Question. On that point, I don't mean to get off track, but
Yeah, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done this.
I'm gonna turn off the
but you
timer.
mentioned that.
Yeah,
I think you have talked to our state fire marshal.
I have.
Why isn't he doing anything?
Because nobody's asked him to.
You didn't ask him to? I mean, I guess it's like, you know,
I mean, no one so far has asked them to conduct an inspection on any best facility. He said they're ready to do it.
okay, we need,
So
Who
we need to
officially
do that.
has to ask? A citizen? I mean, who has
so
to
we need to
ask?
have a resolution on Monday, or a motion on Monday to authorize the judge to send a letter to the state fire marshal
We could.
to inspect any best facility in Kirk County.
Yeah, but right now there are none.
Well,
That's the
it's
problem.
not.
They're in a plan.
Be involved in the planning, maybe.
I mean, it's just like, you know, only things that we can do, that's something that we can do on Monday.
We could. It doesn't hurt. I wouldn't want to think that that's the only thing we do. We really do need to go forward
Well, I'm
with
not
the
saying
chapter
it's the only thing,
391
but
You're
it's
just
commission.
saying that's one of the things.
But it's
Why
one
not
of the
do it?
things we can and should do. Yes, I agree.
I think that'll be our third resolution on this.
But the first one was fire marshal.
Yeah, exactly. I realize that.
Sorry, what?
I was gonna say that Chuck's talked to me about this, and there's a very complicated system. I don't know how it all works.
Yep.
On these fire codes
Well,
and
we're
fire
learning.
marshals.
We're learning.
But it's a very technical thing. How to invoke it.
Judge, I would totally agree. I mean, the more I study, the more I learn about this, and there's rules in Texas, and there's rules of electrical engineering, and then there's certain public utilities. It's very complex, which is why we believe a body needs to be assembled to study it and inform the courts, plural, so our legislators can be informed as well, because no one person, one member, one legislator can spend all this time, but a body who calls together the right agencies, I think, can maybe be better informed and inform the court on where they're headed. Because when you see so many of these pop up, 830, we're way behind. And according to LCRA, we are leading the charge right now in 391 commissions against BES, which I find hard to believe because I've seen this go up in so many counties.
Has done this yet.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's.
I just got that today, actually. How many other counties have done this? Significant. I stopped counting at 20 in Texas alone that already have energy BESs and have them in play, but yet are not asking some of the hard questions. Because honestly, a lot of this technology is new,
Sure.
right? And we're into a new
They have
era
to
of
come
battery
to us for
storage.
approvals. So
Yeah.
we don't even know what they're doing and how far along they are.
Correct. But we need to get together what is good about it, what's bad about it, and what do we do about it, so we
Sure.
can inform our legislators. And that's, I think, the real importance and value of a 391 commission. Just like you set up in our own county, who's in charge of animal control, who's in charge of the airport, who goes and does all that. We need somebody, and it needs to be cross-county for 391. Those are the concerns that we've come up with so far. You could read into that and cross things out or add some more. Next slide, because I know I'm on the clock with Commissioner Overby. Best root cause. Yeah, there's been explosive growth in renewables. What are you going to do about it? They want battery storage. That's why they're coming about. It was 6% 2 years ago for wind. Now it's 30%. And every day you can watch it on ERCOT's website. It'll continue to grow. And yeah, the number one provider of electricity here in Kirk County, is it coal? Is it natural gas? Or is it wind? It's coal, the coal plant. There are 3 of them, and they do 660 megawatts each. But that's going to change over the future. It's not just when exactly you need it. It's going to be periodic or intermittent power, and they intend to do something about it with these BESs. That's the whole reason they're coming. We're asking for some safeguards when they do come. Next slide. Regulatory strategy. Thank you, by the way, for passing something. You're already wrestling with that pig, whether you know it or not today, and you have before, and you continue, I hope, to do it in the future with Kendall County and a 391 commission. And that is why we're asking to form it. Those are the reasons that we believe we should do a 391 commission. That's some of the stuff y'all were just talking about. Why should we do this? Well, it's right up there. Principally, it's to help the legislatures come together. What we've seen from West Fidel and his bill right now is on one thing only, It's not a complete list of what they want. It's one thing, and it's distance. We've learned that from Mason. He has a friend up there named Chris Dyer, who started out with a few megawatts in his backyard, and it grew to 100 megawatts within about 2 years. Now his property value has gone down, and his risk has gone up. So he's concerned about that, and he wants to do a distance factor of 500 yards. So if you see that bill come up, and the reason there's only one is because they're trying to take bites in this instead of one unified bill. Because you can imagine one unified bill that has 5 or 6 different contentious issues in it, it's easier to maybe chop that apart, and it's harder to get across. So right now, the strategy between Rep. Troxclair, it appears from me, not the court, I'm not speaking for the court, but from my perspective, is to get some legislation through to start out. And that's why West Verdell is going after a 500-yard, that's what he's proposing to our state legislature. But we want to inform them on what we need in a strategy. That's the whole reason 391 is coming apart. Yes, sir.
500 yards, what?
Yes, sir, property lines, because right now, it's literally, like this guy Chris Dyer in Mason, where one of the first started, it's over his fence. They started with a 2-megawatt facility, and it started small, and there's a few HVACs making noise and energy that it provided, and it was a little bit of a nuisance, but times 10
think it's like
with
50
100,
feet.
it's significant now.
it's so close.
So our concern is about that distance, how close it is to homes, and what it does to property values. We're concerned about property values as well and property rights. And the majority of people here, I think, are concerned about the environment, their property values, and actually safety of our wonderful hill country. So that's why we think our strategy should inform our legislators, or legislators. Next slide, please. Other avenues, yeah, we could send letters. You've already done some of that, and I thank the court for that. You'll probably have to do more of that in the future as we learn more. And maybe promote good solutions in the future, more natural gas. And right now, it was kind of disappointing when I saw the ratio of what was actually providing our energy. Natural gas is not growing as much as wind and solar, but yet we have so much natural gas. Next slide. Thank you. Court Order 4787. There's 2 of them. One goes to TCQ, and one goes to the other folks that are in there. That's a great start. That's why we're leading, by the way. That shows the rest of Texas. Is that 15
That's
minutes?
15.
Okay.
Just
That shows how we're leading. Next slide. Membership. It's in your bylaws. It's also right up there. Folks, that's just a start. That's probably not perfect. There's not names on it. But that is a start on what we should be.
I think you also should consider putting somebody from the city. I don't know that you need 2 county commissioners. I think somebody from the city and somebody from the county would probably be more fair.
We would agree. Your future folks, Tom Jones and I, actually, because y'all maybe necessarily all can't sit down with them, did sit down with the city and discuss where you're at with Bess
Yeah.
and can we use your fire marshal, and they were open to discuss it. No commitments, by the way. This is public, no commitments.
Just like us.
But they were open to discuss it, and I understand the city is going to be interested in this economic development. And yeah, you know, this Friday I'm sitting down with the EDC, and I'm going to talk to them about Bess's
But the point is,
because
it's difficult enough with 2 parties. If
Yeah.
you start introducing a third, especially on the front end, you're never going to get there. So
Right.
we would like and propose that we remain focused and proceed with Kendall County. You can always add other
But
municipalities.
let me
or
talk about
other
the city.
I'm the
Why
same-
are they not
I'm-
targeting the
I'm-
city?
I'm the same with you. I think you would have one.
I know, I'm going to answer.
Citizens
I
comfort,
just
one-
want to make sure I'm clarified on that. The reason they're not going to the city because they have more rules than municipality, and we have more at risk because they're really targeting the rural areas and counties because it's easier to get it passed because we don't have the rule structure.
code,
Oh, yeah,
no
for
fire marshal.
sure. But I still think that they should be involved in these discussions with these agencies because,
It's an open meeting, so anybody can
Yeah.
be involved.
I know,
If they
I
want.
just,
So as an act of good faith, yes, we've already sat down with
Yeah.
Dalton Rice, and we intend to keep them informed, but as far as voting right now, that's our recommendation. That's for the court to decide, if you like that structure or not. And by the way, Ann, to answer your question, every year that should be reflected and changed. It's an
So
annual
1
look,
year annual.
1 year,
Got
you
it.
bet. That's where the court has control about who's chair or co-chair on there, who's on there from Kerr, who's on there from Kendall. And it may grow if Bandera wants to join in, or Gillespie, which is, by the way, getting looked at right now up in Harper, right on the edge of Kirk County, another site.
Speaking of Gillespie, they have a town hall tonight at 6 o'clock, if anybody's interested.
Correct.
So
It's
we're
one
hoping
of-
you're done by
One of
then?
these people, these
Yes.
battery storage people coming and try to sell them on their wares. Anyway.
Okay,
I do wish I had these earlier, and I
Yeah.
did not get them.
but
I
you know
thought
what?
everybody
We've
did,
got
or
it
I
now.
would make
I
sure.
I would have made,
And this is helpful. In reading this, it does assume, though, that we would use our county attorney, and we would use our district clerk for taking minutes and doing things. You are gonna have to file,
I don't think that
audits
you would
and
use the
reports.
district clerk.
Well,
The-
it was
the commission
suggested
would
in
have-
this, yeah.
Yeah, somebody
So
needs to be
somebody's
a
gonna have to do
secretary
that.
in there.
We
So we do
definitely
need
need
to go
minutes.
back to our county employees to see if they have the capacity to do that, because that's probably gonna be a lot of meetings. And so, that's what I'm saying, maybe you spread it out where it's not just all of the county, incurring all that, but you're gonna have somebody that's a treasurer type person on this
Correct.
committee, because you're gonna have audits that have to be turned in to the state, so I think there should be a broad look at who serves on that committee, but this is helpful, thank you.
And we took off one column on there, is like who we think should be secretary, who we think should be treasurer on that board, because those are functions that are required,
Yep.
not optional.
Yep.
But we know that has to be done in the
Right.
formation of
Sure,
a 391
just like
commission.
ESDs do.
Next slide. There's a lot of bylaws, and yes, we did get it, as spoken earlier, from another county. And I do agree with Commissioner Letts, we need to look hard at section 2. And I would ask for y'all to take your chance to read this on your own and go through the bylaws in detail, come back together. This is a draft. And by the way, Kindle has this as well, Judge. So they're going through this as well, but now we have to make sure that we're all seeing the same draft. And so who owns the pen is kind of the master, if you will, and I would like for you maybe to consider someone on the court to be the master, to keep all the changes, because that's a difficult thing when you have all these revisions back and forth. Whoever you would like to have that,
You can do that in a.
I'm not pointing to anyone, that is for y'all
Because
to
we
decide.
can't go back and forth,
You
but
can do that
Jody
in a
can.
document.
I think you just need to have it on our agenda each month, each meeting.
Well,
I agree. And then
Go
we
over the-
discussed it.
To go over, because otherwise,
think so.
otherwise
That's
another
fine.
6 months is gonna go by. and-
Oh, no,
Oh,
no.
gosh.
Because this will
Well,
change,
It'll be on the
and it
agenda on
should,
Monday.
a lot, these bylaws. This is what I would ask the court really to chop. And that, yeah, we're all, yeah, thank you, towards the end. And there are, as you will see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, pretty much 7 pages of bylaws to consider. And I believe at this moment, there are plenty of questions and answers. These are meant to be backups. Some of it you've discussed. Next slide. We have questions and answers done from Dan Byfield, and as well as Commissioner Andra Wiesen, who was here as well. They
Both
looked
are
at
very
really
good.
hard questions and went through it all. I just want to make sure that you have that, so you can read through it and may answer some of the questions that you don't want to ask or that you haven't thought about yet. I think it's important. We added it all in there. I'm not going to kill you and try to go through this line by line, but I want to provide it to you so you can read it at your own leisure. And that concludes the presentation, and I was over 5 minutes. Sorry, Ann.
You're good.
Thank you.
Good job, Jeff.
Thank you.
Don't do that. It's swell.
Yeah.
He did.
We've been going at this for about an hour and a quarter. Why don't we take a 10-minute break and come back after that?
What else we got?
I don't know.
for the rest of the court.
Okay, the meeting comes back to order. A lot of people have to leave, I heard that.
It's the middle of the day. Everybody's got to work.
Is,
Have we started, or?
yeah, we're started. Is there any other topic that needs to be addressed?
No?
You, hopefully now you have the material that was intended to be circulated
Right.
last week. I don't know how you didn't get it, but anyway.
I thought that.
Well, I saw it, anyway. Jody saw it.
Yeah, first, I'm addressing the members of the court. Do we have any other issues that need to be discussed at this
All I
time?
needed was the bylaws. I have that. I can edit them.
Yeah. Well, the only other thing is, are you gonna have any other input
Well,
while they're here? I guess
I
that's.
was asking about the court first, Rich. Let me finish.
All right.
okay?
Amongst us, yeah.
Do we have any issues? Okay. I've got about a dozen or so requests to speak applications here. Is there anything that anybody needs to make the court aware of?
Anything new?
I'm on there to speak.
Okay, and your name is?
Mike Lucky.
Okay, if you would, go to stand, podium. Got you right here.
My name is Mike Lucky, and I live in Kendall County. I appreciate your efforts here today and trying to understand this 391. I want to try to have you go back, I think other than Commissioner Letts, about 13, 14 years ago, we were being targeted to be endangered species area for the Southern Edwards Plateau Habitat Conservation Plan. The 5 counties involved, 2 of which were Kerr and Kendall, we got together, we had 2 representatives out of every court, and we got together in the Kendall County Commissioners Court. It was the American Stewards of Liberty, which are guiding us on this, and Mr. Byfield, the Byfields. And what they did was they guided us, because at that point we were fighting the federal government. We're fighting the Fish and Wildlife, we were fighting Bexar County and the city of San Antonio. And what the Byfields showed us was in U.S. law, the federal governments or federal agencies are required to coordinate their plans. But the only way we could fight that was we had all 5 courts do resolutions, the exact same resolutions. We had to do letters to each one of these organizations. We had San Antonio, Bexar County, U.S. Fish and Wildlife. But if we did not have the Byfields standing with us, guiding us through that, we would be in an endangered species habitat plan right now. To get your land out of that, to do anything on your property would have required $3,500 per acre to pull it out. Okay, and you'd have to do an environmental study, which could take years. You know, we need to be very thankful for what they've done in the past. They're a nonprofit legal organization, and they guide us in maintaining our property rights. I don't know of anybody else out there doing that. They're amazing couple, and the whole organization now. To take that to the 391, the 391 was a new tool I just learned about, but there's state laws that require coordination between entities like the battery plants. It requires them to coordinate their plans with your plans. If your plans say, we don't want these things near a populated area, you've got very good standing, and you can fight that. This is strictly, a 391 can be used for other things, but you can dictate what you want that for. And you can do it for a defensive tool to fight high-speed rails. You could use it on these BEST projects. Be specific on it so it doesn't get out of hand. I think that's one of the fears that some commissioners and judges have is can this thing get out of control? And they can. In my opinion, they can. I'm not the expert on it, on the 391s, but I guarantee you the Byfields, are doing this to protect our properties, our homes, our rights to be able to really control what happens in our areas. So at this point, I would just say, you know, listen to the advice, please, of those that have helped us guide us through these things, because I mean they have got a proven track record, and if done right, this forces anybody out there that wants to do something. You could, as a court, it gives you the tools that you need to be able to fight back quickly and much more easily. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have something that they want to apprise the court of? Yes, ma'am? Okay.
I just want to stress the importance of environmental study. In 2018, when the power lines were coming into, they were going to cross over the Hill County Youth Ranch, we really didn't want them to come across the Youth Ranch because we have kids there. We started a fight to fight that. I'm a geophysicist. I worked in Houston for many years. I retired to Mountain Home, and now I'm a working geologist, a hydrologist. In 2018, we had a huge rain event. I dropped a dye pack into my creek at my house in Mountain Home. 47 minutes later, it reached Johnson Creek. So, the only thing I want to say is hydrogen sulfide, hydrogen cyanide, carbon dioxide, and hydrogen fluoride are the chemicals that come out of these. And in 47 minutes, they could be from Mountain Home to Johnson Creek. And it would not be long after that that it would be in our water. Or it would be in our water anyway. So we have to have an environmental study on this to find out where, you know, what's going to happen. Where's the water level? What are we polluting what little water we have with now? And that's what I have.
Thank you. Any other burning issues? Mr. Burner?
First, I'll try to stay on topic, but is there anybody here from the city? Because I'd like to hear from them if there's anybody here from the city. I think that answers our question on that.
I live in the city.
Work at the city. And I also want to know if the meeting in comfort at the library, everybody that was there is here or was here before they left? Was that illegal? I'd like to know that. Lastly, I think the one thing that Jeff did a good job, but he didn't. There's one thing that nobody is talking about. When we decommission these and these companies go out of business, because they're going to go out of business and they're going to dump this on us. The latest information we have, and this is today's dollars, $50,000 per megawatt to decommission. And they're going to dump that on the county. So you can kiss the 80 million, whatever tax dollar, you can kiss that goodbye. Nobody's going to think about that. Nobody thinks about the devaluation of all the land. I know that Rob Kelly's got to get all this land out of ag. Got it. This kind of goes along with that. So I'm thinking he's struggling with that.
I'm sorry, what are you talking about?
You said it in March. I heard it in March. You said it. I got one of those real long memories. You said it. You said it. So I'm just worried about the devaluation and the decommission. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am?
Linda Bullard, Goat Creek Road in Kirk County. Because I did go to the trouble of reading through the bylaws in their entirety, I decided to go ahead and address you on that. And it's great to have them, by the way. Thank you for making them available. And before I forget it, are we going to be able to get that PowerPoint presentation? Is it going to be posted, or can we have access to that? Yes? Okay, good. So, anyway, about the bylaws, I did have something I'd like to see in there in Article 3, Section 2, where I think it would be important to embed the precautionary principle as the basic approach, in addition to the statutory provisions which will guide the Commission's work. The precautionary principle is a legal principle for the regulation of innovations which have the potential for causing harm, but where they are so new that scientific knowledge and experience is lacking. And it has been used extensively in legislation at all levels, including international treaties. The necessary corollary to the precautionary principle is the reversal of the burden of proof. In other words, the onus is not on us, the people represented by y'all, to prove that a potentially harmful activity is unsafe. The onus is on the proponent of the activity to prove that it is safe through environmental impact statements or whatever we want to use to judge that. If there isn't complete scientific certainty about it, then the precautionary principle prioritizes caution, and the people, livestock, wildlife, and flora, and emergency responders in our case, should not be put at risk. Of course, many in this room are convinced that there is no uncertainty about BESS facilities, that the clear and present danger has been established beyond doubt. But that certainty will likely not exist at the state level, which is where we are headed. And it would be good for all parties in this discussion to know that our commission is guided by the precautionary principle, which can be defined in Article 7, Section 4 of the bylaws. And that's what I would ask. And then one final thing, if the BESS matter cannot be resolved quickly to our satisfaction, then a moratorium or temporary injunction should be considered as a stopgap measure to prevent the BESSes from getting up and running while the jury's out. In other words, this relates to the problem that Commissioner Pezes was mentioning about grandfathering in. And that is a big problem. So this is, the question of a moratorium or a temporary injunction is complicated from a legal point of view, but it's not impossible, and I think it needs to be added to the Commission's work plan, although it need not be mentioned in the bylaws. Okay? So thank you very much for organizing this workshop, and I hope you'll move ahead and get this commission going. Thank you.
Any others?
Is it only new information that you're looking for at this point?
I think that's what's most helpful, Clay, but
Well, Clayson Lambert, 673 Town Creek, Kerrville. There's just something I noticed up here that I want to let everyone know that I noticed it, and I think you might have noticed it too. There seems to be a little interaction going on here today where it's very obvious that there's a couple of people that are proponents and a couple of people that are opponents to the 391 Commission. And what I think I've observed is a fairly solid but not reasonable argument that because you don't know specifically exactly how this tool will be used, that it needs to be set aside until you know that. And I don't think that's a good position to take. Nowhere in this document does it give you detailed specifics on exactly how to use the tool. I went to Harbor Freight the other day and I bought a sander. My wife didn't say, well, how are you going to use that? How do you know you really need that? What's going on there? The 391, from my perspective,
appears to be a tool. And any good solid craftsman would want to have every available tool in his tool belt and every available arrow in his quiver. And if you adopt that and you find out through actually working with it that it's only semi-effective and there's other things that suddenly reveal themselves out there, you haven't heard anything. Like everything else in life, it's the risk-reward deal, and I don't see a lot of risks, and I do see a lot of awards. And the main one is like the gentleman that spoke about an hour ago said having a seat at the table, getting advanced knowledge of what's going on, and having a voice with the legislature and all is reason enough by itself to adopt a 391 commission.
Thank you.
Judge, I'll make a comment. Just because Mr. Lambert was talking about me being against, I'm in favor of it. All I've asked for
And not all of us
is,
have
can
all
I
the information.
please see a document? I'm not gonna vote to approve something before I've read it.
I understand
All I said.
that. You know, somewhere at some point in SpaceX said, I think we can take that booster rocket and reuse it, and we'll have it fly itself down and park itself, maybe, you know, just on a hook somewhere. And people said, well, how are we specifically going to do that? Let's reject it because we don't know how.
No, I
They
think Mr.
didn't. They
Lambert's
figured
what
out how to
happened
do it.
was Somebody paid an engineer to determine how to do it before they sent the money to do it. That's what I'm-
Actually, with SpaceX, that was not true.
They didn't have any engineers at SpaceX.
They did.
Let's get back.
They didn't pay an outside consultant to do that.
Off the track here. Thank you.
I don't like being accused of things.
Anybody
Sir,
else?
I have some information from Judge Duhan. May I speak?
Not if you acted like you did before, because I almost held you in contempt. We're not doing that anymore.
He is just answering some basic questions about a 391 commission.
If
And
you would
he
speak in the
said-
microphone so that people on.
Yes,
YouTube
sir.
can hear you.
I apologize. 391s have the power of coordination that does not belong to individual counties. Coordination is a legal term. It means being treated by the state or federal agency as an equal partner in the process. So they cannot just legally dictate what will happen. If the Subregional Planning Commission has a concern, as a matter of coordination, the state agency has to make every reasonable effort to address that concern. If it's about a fire resulting in poisonous runoff that could impair the water system, then the state agency is obligated to look at what can be done to prevent this. And if you know of things that can be done, you bring that forward as well. Having a 391 commission is about having an open back and forth to address a specific issue. That's what the coordination is about. The 391 has representatives from each member entity speaking for their member entity. A 391 commission is a tool in the tool belt for local government in dealing with state and federal agencies. The commission follows the instructions of its members, which are the commissioners' courts. If the commission does anything the court does not like, then the court can withdraw from the commission at any time. The commission cannot bind the court to do anything that it does not want to do. Each court will appoint a representative to represent them on the commission. The commission does not operate independently of the commissioners' courts that are the members. It serves the interests of the member organizations. You don't have to contact every state agency. You use it when it's needed and at what time you send a letter or notice to the applicable agencies requesting coordination of that specific issue. I think Commissioner Paces said some of this. If you want the 391 to be specific as to one issue, you can certainly do that. But that means if something comes up later, a different issue, then you have to create another 391 or you have to amend the bylaws to allow you to address the new issue. And he just advises that we keep it generic, but it's up to the members of the 391 Commission. And I do want to say that these this is from me, Audrey, not from Judge Duhan. But these 390, when we had the South Korean company come to Kendall County a little over, well, probably like 10 months ago, I don't recall exact date. But we asked about the electricity that would be provided for a 100 megawatt facility. It's 2 to 4 hours of electricity that will power up to 50,000 homes. That's all we're getting out of 100 megawatts of battery energy storage. That's straight from the South Korean company. We also asked if we would get that in Kendall County. Would we get that electricity? And the answer is no. They told us it would go to larger cities most likely. So we really don't get any benefit from this at all in the electrical, as far as electricity is concerned. Thank you for letting me speak again.
Okay.
Judge, this gentleman would like to speak. He signed up.
I'm going to be real quick
Name.
because,
Name?
oops.
Your name.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Kenny Kane, and I live on Flat Rock Creek Road, and I'm past the proposed facility, which is really not good if this thing works out, because we can go, we would have to go by the facility if there's a problem, and if we go to our place, then we can't get out if there's a fire. I mean, there's no exit. Now, that doesn't have anything to do with Kirk County, but, you know, I think a good thing to do here is to make a study of some of the problems involved, like, you know, some of these fires, there's been quite a few of them, and need to look at, there's studies on the fires. And I think it's really important, like there's one fire that they had flames that are 70 feet high, and that's blowing a whole bunch of toxic material into the air, and it's doing the same thing with gases and whatnot. It's going to shut down a whole area the way I see it. But, and our fire department is wonderful in Kendall County, but it's a volunteer fire department, and can they put one of these things out? You can't put it out anyway. It's 3,600 degrees, and you know, if the fire occurs, you sit there and let it burn out. That's what these people have done in the past. And, you know, another thing, you know, we talk about property values. I don't know that there's going to be a fire, but there's going to be a big drop in property values. There's signs up and down Flat Rock Creek Road now. I think people are trying to, you know, get out and move on. They're worried to death. All of us are worried. But I don't know, the thing that I'm the most worried about, I guess, is property values. But a fire can just do so much damage, and out there we got lots of cedar, lots of grass, and man, it's easy. It would be easy, I think, to get a fire. Can you control that? Do we really know that we can control it? I don't think we know that. But anyway, I can't talk much about the 381 Commission, so thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
Okay. Ms. Hall?
All right, Terry Hall, on Independence Lane. So most agencies require statutorily that they have to coordinate with local government, but next to none of them ever do. And that is the actual state legislator that created the 391 statute long ago had you all in mind for this very situation that you're experiencing right now. And that is, how can we as a little old local government have a say over our own self-governance and determination in our county with these big bad agencies that refuse to do their job? Statutorily, they're supposed to be doing this, and they're not doing it. This is your tool to do that. That's exactly what this is. And how you wield it is up to you. And that's really where it comes down to on the success level of this. But you have to force them to coordinate with you. They're not doing their job now, obviously, but it's up to you to make them come to the table and do their job to coordinate with you. And the other thing about the legal definition of coordination, a lot of y'all have covered a lot of these points. There's a term called harmonize. They are legally required to harmonize with your local plan. If our local plan, which is your resolution you already passed, said you're not going to put any of these facilities in Kirk County, then they have to harmonize with that plan. And the way you get that on their radar is through coordination. You bring them to the table, and you bring in experts like Ms. Davis right here. You have a local hydrologist and geologist, expert testimony witness that you can call tomorrow. As soon as you send that notice out to all those state agencies, and they will have to listen to her, and you can then commission the environmental study, which will then cause them a lot of money and a lot of delay. And if you put in enough of these things out there through your coordination process, you are going to chase them all out, one by one. And then there won't be any grandfathered facilities for us to worry about until our grandkids are in the ground. But the other thing is, I disagree a little bit with Commissioner-elect Holt on this. I don't see these in our future at all. I think these are people who are desperate to get in before the federal strings get cut by the Trump administration. He has made it very clear we are going to drill, baby, drill. And we are going back to natural gas, and we are not going to be relying on these unreliable sources of energy like wind and solar. They don't work. We're going to secure our grid, and you can take that to the bank.
All right.
And with that, we are adjourned.